One of the reasons I prefer the hi-fi equipment from the 1970s and 80s is the visual aspect. The fact that the equipment itself looks a lot more interesting. The 70s equipment has bouncing VU needles and the 1980s has flashing LED meters, and the more recent stuff just tends to have, well, pretty much nothing on most of it apart from the really high-end equipment. So I've done a few videos over the years demonstrating ways that you can add some sort of visual feedback to your music through LED panels and little LCD displays, but today we're going to be taking that to a bit of an extreme because I've managed to get hold of a LaserDock. The LaserDock is a home laser show system from the well-known laser company Wicked Lasers. It was launched on the crowdfunding website Indiegogo, and it's a laser projector that attaches to a Windows or Mac computer and produces a multicoloured laser show that can be synchronised to music played either through the computer itself or picked up over the computer's microphone. Now, as it draws shapes using lasers, it doesn't require focusing and produces very bright images. Now that's exactly my kind of thing, and that's why I was one of the first people to back the project when it went up on Indiegogo. Everything with the project was going to plan. It was all on time, there were regular updates, it was very efficiently run, and then out of the blue, just a couple of days before the projector was due to ship, I got an email from the manufacturers themselves offering to send me a review copy. Now I guess I'd seen some of my other videos about music visualizers and thought I was the guy to show this off. Now I did turn them down because I was due to receive one anyway. But then, just a couple of days later, there was some bad news. The US FDA approval was going to take a lot longer than expected, and unfortunately they were forced to refund all the orders that had been placed, including mine. Now, as I'm in the UK, I got back in touch and said, you know that review sample that you offered? Well, on second thoughts, that's how we get to here. So let's take a good look at it. Now, the one that was supplied to me came in this protective case. This is an optional extra. You don't get this automatically. I'll show you the difference in price later on. But I think it's a good idea now that I've seen it because it does keep it all together and stops it getting damaged when you're moving it around. So let's have a look what's inside here. We've got the power supply lead, which of course will be for the country in which you reside. So just put that to one side. We've also got a USB lead here. It's a nice long one. It has to attach to your computer at one end, the projector at the other. So it's 5 meters or approximately 16.4 feet. And then we've got the projector itself, which is an all metal body device. We'll just lift that out of there, and then in the bottom here we've got a little plastic bag with a couple of things in it. So opening that up, you can see in here we've got a set of keys, and that little dongle thing is an interlock. Those are used on laser projectors as a safety cut-off device. Looking at the projector itself, the window that the laser comes out of is currently behind this metal plate, so you can get that out of the way by unscrewing those screws at the front. It drops down and then you tighten those up again. Now, the mounting handle that's on the top of it can be loosened by unscrewing these screws at either side. It enables you to move the handle from the back to the front or any position in between and then tighten it up just to get the angle right. Now, looking underneath, we've got a heat sink on here, presumably of course to stop the thing from overheating. Then we'll have a look around the back and see what sockets and things we've got on here. So at the top right we've got an on-off switch, then we've got the power socket which notices multi-voltage, 110 to 250 volts. We'll put the interlock in here. This is that protected device I mentioned which connects two wires together, and if the wire at the back of that was to get disconnected, snipped, it would stop the projector from working. So we've got a key there which has of course an on or an off position. We'll put the power lead in here, so you put it in at an angle and twist it round, it clicks and locks into there. So the only way to get it out is to pull that little metal switch and then twist it to one side. So that's not the kind of thing that's going to come out by accident. So we'll get this turned on now. So first off, flip the key to the on position, then press the switch, and you can see that's lit up on the back, and also on the front we've got a white LED, which is there really, I think, to remind people not to look at that because that's where the laser is going to be coming out of. Right, so the next thing we need to do is follow this quick start guide. So if we go to that web address there, I'll show you what's on there at the time that I'm doing this. There's only Mac software at the moment. There's going to be Windows software any day now, and it's probably already there by the time you look. And then there's a couple of other things it recommends here. So we'll just look at the software first of all. That's a downloadable version 0.8 at the moment. Again, early days, of course, that'll progress as time goes on. That help file takes us to this page here, which we've already seen, so we can close that down. The next thing it recommends we do is use a piece of software on the Mac that gives you more control over your sound output for different applications, as well as how it operates with your system. So for example, you can have it playing music through, say, iTunes, outputting over the 3.5mm jack, but also sending it off at the same time to the projector. And finally, we've got access to this tab here, which gives us various discussions and advice and things that people are posting about the LaserDock itself. And of course, that will again expand in time. So the simplest way to use this projector is to connect it up to a computer, a Mac or a PC, run the visualizer software on the computer. The visualizer software listens to the sound in the room through the computer's built-in microphone, and that then affects the visuals that the projector's displaying. As you can see here, I've got the projector displaying a very small image. I'll turn the lights down here, but it's much too small, so I'm going to move the projector further away from the wall, and that's a little bit better. But still, I really want to make it look quite a little bit more visual than that, a bit larger. So let's break out the projector screen here and we can get this working properly. So first off, I need to get that test circle on the screen. That enables us to just get it lined up right, and then we can play some visuals through it. As you can see here, I've got the lights on still in the room, or the lights coming through the window, so I'm going to close the curtains on that and get a much better image in low light. It's a nice bright image though, I've got to say, but you do need low light. You're better off using this in a darkened environment. But everything's looking great now, so I've got it working how I wanted to. I've got the camera focusing on it properly as well. So let me just show you this app before we get it all off and running. So once you've loaded up the app, there's not much to see here. There's a couple of things here, settings and quit. So let's just look at settings. First of all, we can choose whether we want the sound to come through the microphone in the computer or be routed via that sound siphon app that I showed you before. So I'm going to do it via the app because it gives a much quicker response. The reaction of the visuals to the music is a lot quicker if you do it through the app, but it does mean, of course, that the music that you're playing has to be on the computer itself that's attached to the projector. So I'm going to play some music from the YouTube audio library to demonstrate that to you. That's the best way to do it. Right, the next thing is this tab here. This is some settings. You don't really need to mess around with these as far as I can make out, other than maybe start with that test circle on the screen so that you can get it lined up properly. That's pretty much the thing that you're going to use that for. Now if we go back up to the top again here, click on this one here. Now the projector isn't connected at the moment, but it lets us look through the app. You can see here that I've got access to a lot of different visualizations, as I suppose they're called, different things that the projector can show, and these are all different sort of animations and things. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work my way through these and let you look at them all. It's going to take about 7.5 minutes to go through them all. You can have it play them in random order automatically. If you just do it, it will cycle through these in a shuffled random order. Or you can have it jump to individual ones if you want, just by picking it from the drop down box and picking the animation you want. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with this animated dancer, and I'm going to go forward one at a time all the way through. So it goes all the way through every visualization and then back to the dancer again. So as I say, it's going to take about 7.5 minutes. So I hope you're prepared for this. Sit back, relax and enjoy 7.5 minutes worth of laser visualizations. so we've made it through a full loop of all the different visualizations in the software, and the music that you were listening to are these 3 tracks here in that order from the YouTube audio library. Now, I've had music visualizers before which don't seem to be very reactive to the sound that they're receiving. They seem to create the same animations whether or not that you're listening to a drum beat or just white noise. Well, I definitely can't say that for this one. This one is very reactive to the sound that's coming into it. As I start and stop the sound here, you can see the visuals are definitely affected quite noticeably by the different sounds that they hear. Now, one of the great things about this projector is that it's just a projector. The animations, the visualizations are contained within the computer software, so those can be updated and added to at any time. And of course, it also means you can create your own if you're capable of doing it, that is. There are various pieces of software available for Mac and Windows which enable people who know what they're doing to create their own laser animation shows, and of course you can then sync those up to music or do whatever you want. I thought I'd have a quick look at these so I could maybe demonstrate something to you, just get my name to appear on the wall or something. I've got to be honest, it's way beyond my abilities. I had a look at it, had a play around, and just got completely lost. I didn't understand at all what was going on. So this is definitely something that's more for the professionals, or at least someone that's got a bit more clue about it than I have. Let's put it that way. The LaserDock is available from the Wicked Lasers website. That's wickedlasers.com. If you want to add that flight case on the protective case, that's going to cost you another $89. I'll have links to this in the video description. I'll also have links to those tunes that I played you from the YouTube audio library, and if there's any FAQs, I'll put those in there as well. Now, the images that I've shown you in this video are really just a pale replication of what this thing is actually producing. It's really bright, sharp colours coming out of this thing, and it's a mesmerising effect to watch in person. It doesn't quite come across on video. Now, there's a couple of things I'd like to see this do. I'd like the software to be a little bit more user-friendly for people wanting to create their own laser animations, although I can imagine that's going to be quite tricky because it does involve some sort of artistic abilities and a little bit more programming in sort of 3D space and things, so perhaps it is always going to be a little bit above my level. I would prefer it if the stand on this was a little bit more flexible. It enabled me to put it on a tripod or something, especially considering that this is supposed to be for home use. This is the kind of thing that you'd use more in a club on a lighting rig, but at home you really just want some way to prop it up. But one thing that I thought about, now this isn't going to happen, but it'd be really nice. The images that this produces are very much like a vector display, like a Vectrex game console or the old Star Wars arcade game, those lovely bright sharp lines. I just thought it'd be great if somebody was able to make an emulator for either the Mac or a Windows PC that could output its images over this projector, and you could play some of those old vector games on a massive screen on the wall. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's the kind of thing that I'd like to see. And the fact that this thing isn't closed, this is just the projector, and the software remains on the computer, means that people could potentially do things like that, and they could add extra animations, extra visuals to this. So really, if you're looking for a laser projector for the home, well, I think this is pretty much the one that you've got to get. Now, not everyone will want one of these. It is a bit specialist, but if you're a DJ or someone traveling around and you really want to add some exciting visuals to your show, then it's really just a brilliant little device. Now, that was going to be the end of the video, but I've just been sent the beta, or beta, if you're American, you imagine there's Y's in words that aren't there, version of the software, version 0.83, the latest version. So let me show you what's new in here. On the right hand side, that's all for if you've got a projector made by somebody else and you want to use it with this software, so ignore that. But on the left, we've got some interesting things now. We've got keystoning at the bottom, which of course means you can straighten out the image with a projector pointing at an angle. You can also flip the image and mirror it, which means that you've got more mounting options. You can put the projector upside down on its handle and get the image the right way up. And then you've also got useful things like zoom, so you can adjust the size of the image without moving the projector. At the top, we've got additional test patterns, which again will help you set it up just right. And I believe there's some more settings around the back, but I'm not going to go into those now because, to be honest, I don't exactly know where they are. But there's a new interface, as we can see here. It's all nicely laid out. It's got a new name as well, I think, Laser Beats. I don't think it was called that before. But anyway, we can go down this list of different visualizations now and notice they've been tidied up. The names have been sorted a little bit differently. So, same ones, I think, as before. I don't think there's any additional ones in here, but I'm compared them side by side to check. But what you can do now, you can sort of layer some of these visualizations. So if you go at the bottom here, you can say pick a visualization at the top. Let's pick sort of dancer that we had before. I'm not going to be able to show you this because I haven't set it all up again, but pick that, and then down at the bottom we can layer some sort of effect on it. So that will mean that it'll sort of bounce to the music or flash to the music or whatever. I'm going to have to try these things out, of course, at another time, but I just really wanted to show you that this software is continually changing, and the projector itself is just a projector. It's all really based around the software, so you're going to find new additions, new changes. The software is going to evolve. The things a projector can do is going to change over time, and I'm looking forward to finding out what these things are. And I think I can actually probably play asteroids on this as well. I've been reading up on that, so maybe that's something to try out in a future video. But that is it for the moment, and as always, thanks for watching.